Okay, so one single number just landed on my desk and it changes everything. And I'm not talking about some wild prediction for 2030. No, this is happening right now. It's proof that the ground is literally shifting under our feet way faster than anyone seems to be ready for. We got to talk about this.
37%. That's it. That's the number. A recent survey from resume.org dropped this bomb, and it says that's how many U.S. companies expect to have replaced workers with AI. But the crazy part isn't the number. It's the timeline. It's not a decade from now. It's not even 5 years.
It's by the end of next year. We're talking the next 18 months. And for me, look, this isn't just some abstract statistic. I'm a developer. My entire career, all the skills I've built, my future, it suddenly feels like it's all on the line. When I look at this number, I don't see a percentage. I see a deadline. So it is time we had a very, very honest conversation.
Yeah, this isn't some gentle, slow transition. The data is screaming that we're looking at a rapid, widespread displacement of jobs all across the economy. If you're a young professional right now just trying to build a career, this is the storm on your horizon. And believe me, it is a lot closer than you think.
Every single day, I'm using tools like GitHub Copilot to write my code or ChatGPT to help me debug. I am part of this shift. I am literally using the technology that could one day make my own job obsolete. The irony is it's not lost on me. And when you dig into the projections for my own field, well, it is nothing short of a 5-alarm fire.
90%. Let that sink in. That is the predicted amount of all new code that will be AI-generated by 2026. Again, that's next year. Not half of it, not most of it, almost all of it. So what does that mean for the human developer? Especially for the junior and mid-level folks whose entire job for decades has been to write that code. The whole path from learning to code to actually getting a job is fundamentally breaking down right before our eyes.
And look, don't think for a second this is just about us coders. This is a full-on workforce compression. It's happening everywhere. I mean, you look at customer support. Salesforce, they just replaced 4,000 agents with AI. Done. In high finance software, you've got these senior engineers who can now do the work of a whole 5-person team. And get this, even mid-level managers, the people whose entire job is to coordinate and file reports, those roles are just quietly disappearing as AI starts doing all that grunt work.
But here's the part that really, truly terrifies me. An analysis recently looked at all the workers in jobs that are at high risk of automation. And what it found, it should honestly stop everyone in their tracks. For over 75% of those people, there's no obvious next step. Their skills are so specialized to what they do now that they can't just easily jump to a safer job. They are, in the researchers' own words, trapped. So it's not just about losing your job, it's about losing any viable path forward.
So, if the numbers are this stark, why isn't this the lead story on every news channel? Well, a big part of the reason is that this whole displacement, it's being deliberately hidden. It's all happening behind a curtain of corporate doublespeak.
There's this term that's catching on really fast: silent layoffs. So instead of these big headline-grabbing announcements, companies are quietly, and I mean quietly, phasing out tens of thousands of jobs. They're asking people to resign, they're using performance reviews to manage people out the door, and they're slowing hiring to a crawl. All of this is to avoid the bad PR that comes with a massive public layoff.
You see this huge gap between the public message and the private reality? Publicly, you hear all the executives talking about how AI will augment our workforce, or it's all just business optimization. But what's happening internally? People I know are telling me about a massive spike in performance-linked exits, hiring freezes that never seem to end, and managers literally telling employees they've got a few months to find a new job before their role just vanishes. It's a strategy. It's a way to cut headcount without ever having to actually announce it.
This quote from another developer I know just absolutely nails it. A hiring freeze isn't just a pause button anymore. It's a calculation period. It is the time companies are taking to run the numbers, to test out all these new AI tools, and to figure out exactly how many people they don't need to hire back.
And this gets to the heart of the problem. It's called the AI layoff trap. Think about it like this. Every CEO knows that if everyone does mass layoffs, it'll tank the economy. But the logic for their own company is just inescapable. They get 100% of the cost savings from their layoffs, but they only feel a tiny fraction of the damage to the broader economy. So one by one, they all keep making the same rational choice for themselves, even if it means they're all racing towards a collective cliff.
Okay, I know that was a lot, and it sounds incredibly bleak. I totally get it. Panic honestly feels like a pretty reasonable response right now. But panic is not a strategy. The truth is, while a ton of roles are being automated away, there are new, more resilient roles starting to emerge. The key isn't to try and outcompete AI. It's a losing battle. The key is to find the work that AI simply can't do.
So let's redefine the goal here. We need to be shooting for what we can call a post-AI role. This isn't about running faster on the coding hamster wheel. It's about fundamentally changing what your job is. You have to shift from being the person who does the task to the person who provides the judgment, the strategy, and the oversight for the AI that's now doing the task.
So what do these jobs actually look like, especially in tech? Well, the senior developers I've been talking to, they see three main safe harbors emerging. First, you have the architect. See, an AI can write a single function pretty well, but it struggles to design a complex, scalable system that has to plug into decades of messy old code. Second, the translator. An AI knows code, but it has no clue about your company's specific business problems or what your customers actually need. That takes a human, someone who can translate business logic into a real technical strategy. And third, the guardian. Because someone has to check the AI's homework, right? Someone has to be responsible for quality, for security, and for making sure the code it just spat out isn't a complete and utter disaster.
And this just perfectly illustrates the pattern we're seeing. The real value is shifting up the ladder of abstraction. AI is quickly becoming the builder, the one laying all the digital bricks. The human roles that are going to last are the architects, the city planners, the quality inspectors, the people who direct the work, not just the ones who execute it.
Okay, so that brings us to the most important question of all. What can you actually do about any of this? Like right now. We're about to walk through a concrete 4-step plan you can use to start building your defense against this massive wave of automation.
And let me be perfectly clear. This is not that vague, fluffy advice you always hear, like, be a lifelong learner, or you should learn to code. No, these are 4 specific, actionable moves, all backed by actual labor market analysis that you could start working on this month to make yourself way more resilient.
All right, here's the game plan. Step 1. You need to start hunting for what are called bridge skills. Think of these as your passport to jump between different careers if you have to. And the research? It points to one that's super powerful: process improvement. Step 2 is to move up the abstraction ladder. We literally just talked about this, right? It means stop obsessing over the how, like which software to use, and start mastering the why and the what. We're talking big picture stuff: system architecture, brand strategy. Step 3, you've got to become truly AI fluent. And I don't mean just asking ChatGPT to write an email for you. I mean learning how to completely re-engineer a job around what AI can do. And that brings us to step 4, master the human skills. Seriously, because when AI is handling all the technical stuff, the only thing that's left, the thing that makes you valuable, is what it can't do. We're talking critical thinking, adaptability, and, just being good with other people.
This one quote just sums it all up perfectly. Study after study shows that your risk from automation goes down the higher you move up the occupational ladder, moving from a doer to a planner, from an implementer to a strategist. That is one of the single best defenses you can possibly build for your career. So, in the end, the disruption is coming. That's not really up for a debate anymore. The only real question left is the one you see right here. What are you going to do about it? The next 18 months are going to define the next decade of the job market. The time to build your plan isn't tomorrow. It's right now, today.